Start off by apologizing for the sound of my voice. My throat is still super sore, still hurts. Not sure what's going on, but we're staying hydrated. So we're just going to keep trying to push through it and see if it'll heal up on its own here. But talk to you today about Biden. Yeah, the greatest president ever, Joe Biden. Not really. We're hearing a lot of channels now talking about how they expect Biden will not be on the ticket for the presidency, right? But we also heard from these same people that within a year to 2 years of when he won the presidency, the vice president, Kamala Harris, would have took over. Remember? Y'all remember that? That something would have happened with Biden's health. They would get him out, move her in, and that would set up an 8-year deal, or 6-year deal, 8, 10. You know what I'm talking about, right? That didn't happen. My question is, does Joe Biden need took off the Democratic ticket? I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican, I'm a constitutionalist. You can obviously see something is wrong with Joe Biden up here. Now, I'm not a doctor, you know, maybe the man is perfectly normal, and when you get that age, that's just how you are. I know people that's his age that don't act like that, and I know some that do, right? But this man is running our country. He's the one running our country. And some of you are going to say, well, he's not running it, he's the puppet. But you understand what I'm saying. He's the man out front. We should put it that way on our country. What is his mental state, his ability to do stuff, right? Is it getting worse? It appears to be. Have you seen some of the press conferences he's been having? He looks like he's just in a daze when he's there, and he walks off just staring off into stuff and things like that. Will he be removed from the ticket? I don't know. I don't see him removing him, but I think more along the lines of this time, if he is elected again, that's when we'll see the vice president take over due to some form of health issue with Joe Biden. A lot of people think Trump's going to just roll right in and win the election. Everybody thought that last time, right? And we all seen what happened the last time. We all saw it. Excuse me, my voice is cracking a little bit. We all saw that we go to bed, he's winning. We wake up, he's losing type situation, right? Could that happen again? Could be. And what's the deal with not wanting voter ID, right? You have to have identification for just about anything in America, right? You got to have identification to open a bank account. You got to have identification to buy tobacco, alcohol, firearms. You got to have identification to go to school, you know, to enroll your kid. You know what I'm talking about. But it's got to the point now where they don't want voter ID. Why is it that they don't want voter ID? Simple. That way anybody can vote, right? I told you back during the last election cycle, my cousin, who was in his 90s, died in January. Well, June or July, his son, my other cousin, got a form in the mail for his dad to vote. Now, this man had been dead for nearly 6 months, right? But they still sent that out, and my cousin said, I could fill this out and send it in and vote. I said, yeah, you could. I said, and that's the problem here. And of course, he wadded it up, burned it, and all, got rid of it, right? Well, how many times does that happen across America? I'm sure those people could technically still vote, right? Do you realize that without voter ID, we know that anyone can vote? We have all these illegal immigrants coming in, right? Are they allowed to vote legally? No. Could they vote? Possibly. Now, I've told you, I don't think we'll know who wins this election on the night of the election. I don't think we'll know up until the first of the year, because whoever wins or is leading is going to sue the other one, and it's going to wind up in the court, right? It's going to wind up in the Supreme Court. This is going to be the worst election America's ever seen as far as how long it drags out. Who remembers growing up, election night, you go to bed, you know who's winning or you know who won, and by lunch the next day you know who won, right? Who remembers the hanging Chad on the paper ballots, right? Well, that ushered in, let's do all computer balloting, right? You go and use a machine now. But this is getting to the point of, it's not who wins the vote, it's who they want in the office, right? It's not an election, it's a selection. Could Biden win again? I'm going to straight out tell you, you're not going to like this answer. Yes, he could win again very easily, just like he won last time, right? Is he going to? I don't know. Is he still going to be on the ticket come election day? I think he will be, and I think they're setting up some type of plan here the way everybody thought the first election was going to happen, that he would be out within a year to 2 years and the vice president will step in. I don't see how this man can do another 4 years in office. I really don't. We don't hear a lot from him. We don't see him a lot on TV. And anytime we do see him on TV, it's scripted, right? 100% scripted. The questions the press ask him, he already has the list and knows the question and knows what to answer, right? That's what we're seeing. That's a puppet. If you know what the question is going to be before it's asked, who's going to ask it, and you already have your answer wrote down, how does that work, right? But they're letting it go. You know, it's normal. It's the way the presidency runs now. If Trump wins, I'm going to tell you the Democrats are going to pitch a fit and it's going to wind up in court. If Biden wins, Republicans are going to pitch a fit and it's going to end up in court. Now, what happens if it's another type of deal where the votes are showing one way and then all of a sudden they switch, right? Because of mail-in balloting and stuff like that. Number one, you should have to show an ID to vote. Plain and simple, you should have to show an ID to vote. Why is that not constitutional? Why is that frowned upon, right? A lot of you know why. It's because that way anybody can go in there and vote, or you can vote multiple times, right? Go to different precincts and vote. Our government, I'm going to tell you, it's in the worst shape I've ever seen or ever read about in history. This is the worst the United States government has ever been. You can go back through history and read up on all these other presidencies that was considered the worst president, and Biden is way up, and they lie more than any other presidency ever has lied. Now, I will tell you this much. I'm a firm believer, excuse me, my throat here, if the press still covered the presidency the way they did before, you know, like back during Kennedy and all them, we would view Kennedy differently today. You know, he wouldn't be considered the greatest president, the most moral president, or anything like that. Because we all know from reading up and what's eventually come out, the man was cheating on his wife. You know, he was having to take medication. A lot of people know that when he was over there at Berlin and he said, tear this, you know, he was doing his Berlin speech wall. Berlin speech at the wall. I'm sorry, my head's not right today, and you probably know that. He had to take amphetamines to do that speech. Now, if that come out back then, people would view him different. Used to, the president was viewed in awe. You know, that's our leader, that's our president, he deserves respect, right? And it's just become a joke throughout the years. It really has, the president. And this is the worst president we've ever had. Can you imagine another 4 years of President Biden in the office? They act like 3% inflation is not a big deal. They're taking everything out that they should be figuring in. We all know they changed the definition of everything right to suit their agenda. But another 4 years of this, you're not going to survive it. And what I mean by that, you're not going to survive it financially. You're not. It's going to become to the point where you're having to choose between, it's almost there now. You're going to start choosing between, do I want a loaf of bread, or do I want, you know, you understand what I'm saying? It's getting to the point where when you go to the store, you're just like, I can't afford to shop. And we tell you all the time, get out and grow gardens, you know. But the honest truth is, most people don't have enough area to grow a garden to feed themselves throughout the year. And that's just the simple truth. But you can grow enough to supplement and ease the cost of your groceries, right? Then you're going to run into problems. Maybe your garden burns up from the heat, right? Maybe it burns up from the drought. Maybe you get bugs in it. There's always issues with everything you try to do, but you still need to try to do it. Container gardening, if you don't have enough room to grow, can you survive like in an apartment off of container gardening? It's going to be tough. I would recommend potatoes. Some of you are like, taters, what's that? Potatoes. Sorry, Southern here. You grow potatoes, sweet potatoes, things like that in containers. More bang for your buck, right? But We always hear all the time, and we tell you too, to prep rice, right? Buy up rice. But I'm going to tell you, if all you're surviving on is rice, and you're having to do work, hard manual labor work, it's going to be tough on you. You're going to start losing some weight. You know, you need to learn how to operate. I'm not a doctor. I'm not telling you to do this, but learn what it is to operate calorie deficient. I mean, seriously, that's where we're going to have to start being. But Biden, another 4 years, would destroy America worse than it's destroyed now. I mean, you can go outside and look around anywhere and see, and most of it's greed. We hear all this stuff during the pandemic that it was due to supply shortages, supply and demand. It's greed. That's why everything has went up, because the supply's back, but yet the prices are still high, right? The prices are still super high on stuff. That's greed. We've discussed this before. If a company has a profit margin of $1 million and they have to raise the pay for their employees and their products go up, right? What they're selling has to raise to cover the cost of their prices of what they're having to pay to get the stuff. Well, they're not going to cut that $1 million, right? They're going to raise it up and somehow get 2-3 million profit, right? It's greed. Plain and simple greed. The only way to fix this as far as the economy and prices, number one, is you would have to boycott everything. Most people are not in a position to boycott. And I'm not talking about for a day or a week or 2 weeks. You're going to have to boycott for like a year from buying anything. And most people's not in a position where they can do that. Where they're like, I'm not going to buy groceries for a year. And then prices would come down, right? Maybe they wouldn't. Maybe they'd stay up. They'd be like, well, it's like gasoline. Here in my area, they got it right near $5. And they realize, all right, people are complaining, but now they stopped buying it, right? Well, let's bring the gas prices back down. Now, when gas was $1.50 a couple years ago, and now it's $3, people are comfortable paying the $3, right? Because it's not $5. You see what I'm saying? You look at the price of oil per barrel and go back through history and look at what a price a gallon of gas was then. They're going to tell you all this stuff that it's because manufacturing costs more. They're having to pay their employees more. It's greed. 4 more years of this type of stuff going on, you won't be able to afford a loaf of bread. Plain and simple. You will not be able to afford a loaf of bread. You're going to have to work an hour to pay for a loaf of bread and a pack of bologna. It's almost there now. I mean, what's a pack of bologna? You might be able to find one for $1, $2. Loaf of bread the same, so you're at $4 or $5, right? For some people, that's half an hour's of work to be able to buy a loaf of bread and a pack of bologna, and that's just absolutely ridiculous. Our country cannot survive if it keeps going this way. There is no way it can survive. No way. The average person, you do not have poor, middle class, rich no more. You have rich and the working poor and destitute. That's the classes we have in America as far as economic classes. There is no middle class. Now, to be middle class, you're going to have to make $100,000 a year. And I'm going to tell you, those jobs, they're not here. They're not in my area. No way, no how. They are not in my area. Unless you're building houses, you own a construction business, a plumbing business, or you own a business, right? Then maybe you can make that. But for an hourly employee, you're not going to make that kind of money here in my area. There is no way you can make that kind of money. You're struggling to get by. Now imagine 4 more years of that. Where are you going to be 4 years from now? Right? How much are you going to lose? How much are you going to have to pick and choose between what you need and what you want? Right? We're fixing to become a society where it's not what you want, it's what you need. You're not going to be able to have this little bit of extra cash. You're going to be pinching pennies to buy groceries, pinching pennies to pay your power bill. My car insurance, for some reason, you know, it has went up, I've told you, $30 a month for absolutely no reason. No tickets, no wrecks, anything like it. It's just went up. And they're telling me it's because, you know, there's more accidents, vehicles cost more, all this and that. No, it's greed. You're just wanting to make more. Plain and simple. Now, if Trump wins, a lot of people think he's going to come in and we're going to get back to drilling oil, which, number one, we should be drilling oil right now. We shouldn't never stop. They think the economy's going to get great. You realize Trump only gets 4 more years, right? That's it. What's going to happen after that 4 years? A lot of people don't like thinking that far out into the future. Trump can't fix this overnight. No politician can fix this overnight. It's gone to the point where it's unfixable. And all we can do is sit there and take a big bite of the crap pie and wait on it to collapse around us, right? Plain and simple. If Trump wins, you know, he'll come in, he'll get them drilling again. He'll deport all these illegal immigrants, right? But guess what? You're going to have states that fight them, and it's going to tie it up in the Supreme Court, and then we're going to wait months to years to get it in front of court. It's all going to sound good. It's going to sound great on paper and on TV, right? But the actual logistics of getting all this done is going to take years and years and years. And while that's, you realize, like, when it goes to the Supreme Court, we're paying that, right? Our tax money's paying for that. They're not doing it for free. It's more tax money coming out of our pocket paying for that. We are in a point in America where America is just, it's fallen. It really has. The only way to fix all this, honestly, is to start over. Wipe the slate clean and start over. That's the only way. We are so far in debt as a country that it is unfixable. Unfixable. There's no way to pay this national debt off. None. None. I know people like to hold on to pipe dreams that it's payable and that some man's going to come in to be president and it's going to fix everything. You're just going to get a 4-year hiatus if he wins, right? The things are still going to be going on, but it's going to look better, right? It's going to look a little better, but when you scratch the top layer off, we're still in the crap, right? We're still in the SHTF. We're still in it. No man can fix this. Your voting can't fix it. I'm not telling you not to go vote. It's your duty as an American citizen to go vote, but understand that your vote really doesn't fix these problems. They really don't. 4 more years of Biden, or we only get 4 years of Trump. Either way, within 4 years, we're going to be in a worse position if we're all still here than we are right now. It's not going to get better. It's not. It's not. The world problems are not going to be solved in 4 years. The economy's not going to be solved in 4 years. The greed is going to continue. I mean, if you're, 18, 19, 20 years old right now, or in your mid-20s, and you're looking to buy a house, can you believe the prices of houses now? Unimaginable that they would be this expensive, right? When I was 18 to 25, you could buy a house and land for $65,000. Now that house and land might cost you $500,000, right? The American dream is unattainable now. All you can hope for is to get through your day, be left alone, pay your bills, have food on your table, your kids safe and fed. That's your new American dream. I'm going to tell you straight, that's your new American dream. It's not that you can go out here and buy all this and buy all that. It's not that no more. The American dream now is, let's just get through the week. Long video, I'm sorry. Sorry about my voice. I know some of you are probably done tuned out because my voice is not my normal voice here. Not sure what's going on with it. Having a lot of, I wouldn't even call it sinus congestion, but my throat is sore. So, sorry about this. Let me know your thoughts on this video. Keep your head on a swivel. Be aware of your surroundings at all times. Protect yourself and your family at all times. At that moment, you're the only person that can do it. 19 minutes into a video, ain't nobody still watching this video. I can guarantee you that. Maybe 1 or 2, but not many's watching it. I've started on the ashtray. If you're watching this far down, I've got a few pieces. I'm going to send you some pictures and see what you think. And just hit me back in the email. If you're watching this long, you know who I'm talking to. Stay safe. Keep your head on a swivel, guys. The economy, the country, and the election. Welcome to the shit show. Stay safe. Keep prepping.